Henry, why do you not have the ladies sing "O Canada"?
So we've got 2 minutes.
Sorry.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, to pass your land with orders and command, with glory as we seek the land that you know strong and free. From fire and oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee.
Woo! Best version of "O Canada" I've ever heard. Thank you so much. By the way, the Sergeant at Arms will pay probably special attention for people who didn't take their hat off during the singing of "O Canada." Chris. But here we are. Thank you very much for joining us for this special Rotary session. Chris, you're introducing our guests. Is that correct? You got your mute on, buddy.
Okay, how's that?
That's better. And there's one guest that you might not recognize. So if you don't mind, I'll just introduce him. David De Silva. David, give us a little wave.
Okay.
Yeah, David I just invited him actually this morning. He expressed an interest in Rotary, and I said, I think you might enjoy this one. So that's what David is on with us. But who do you have to introduce for us?
I have Memory Chazeza and Henry Miet-Seni to introduce, and Maness Samuel. And I don't know if Catherine Filgus is on, but she was going to come as a potential member guest today. So if you're on, hello. And other than that, that's it.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much. I have noticed there's quite a bit of lag between us and our friends in Africa. So just keep that into consideration. Maybe just pause more. We're going to have the purposeful pause to make that lag work, okay? Chris, are you all done with what you wanted to tell us? Okay.
Yes, I am done. Thank you.
Okay, so the only other thing is I just had a couple little quick announcements, and then we're going to get to our special guest and hear from them. I noticed that Stephanie Levitt has come on, and I just learned this the other day. Stephanie has also been to Malawi. So not only just Barry and Pat, but also Stephanie were in Malawi. So quite a few people that in our club that have attended there. But let me tell you this. I had a problem. My Canadian flag was in tatters. It's way up on my hay shed, way up high. I can't get to it with my skid steer. I can't get to it with an extension ladder. What am I to do? My Canadian flag, just little threads hanging there. So I was on Saturday morning, I went for a walk, and there was this construction crew that were just leaving a job, and they had a Zoom boom on a trailer. And I said, hey guys, come with me, please. And they pulled right up. I hopped in the Zoom boom. They lifted it up. I changed my Canada flag out. Hallelujah. Success. So I was pretty excited about that. Next week, we have our annual general meeting. Please attend. It's going to be fascinating. I don't know if you've ever had Joanna read the financial statements, but it's incredible. So make sure you mark that down because we got to get quorum. So we need you to be there, okay, for next week when we have our annual general meeting. And then the week after that is our presentation with Jennifer Jones, the first female president. She's going to be the first female president for Rotary. And so if you have not locked your spot in, please do. There's limited number of places available for that. Okay, which now leads me over. Barry, you are on and have the conversation with our friends from Africa. And let's be mindful of that the little bit of a delay we got happening.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, it's my pleasure to have a discussion with Memory and Henry and Maness. And just so everybody knows that Pat was originally going to handle this, but unfortunately we all know he had hip surgery and his hip went out of joint last night, ended up having an ambulance to the hospital, and they took care of him, but put him in a big brace. And so he can't get down to his computer. So I get the honors of discussing or having a nice conversation with Henry and Memory and Maness. You all know, at least you should know, that I, along with Pat and Jim Christie, have a real passion for this school in Malawi. And we all, Pat and myself, have been there twice, and Jim came with us on the last visit. And I know Jim really enjoyed it, other than the fact that he had a bunk with me and he didn't appreciate my snoring. So I'm not sure if he'll ever go back with me to Malawi again, but I hope to go back at some point in time. Saying that, like I said, it's my pleasure to have a discussion with Memory and Henry and Maness. So I will start off by asking, we're going to do some questions and get some feedback from all three of them. So the first thing is a question that's going to go to Memory. Pat asked Memory, many of the members may not understand what we mean when we refer to scholarship students. There are more than 100 at the school. Can you explain what a scholarship student is? Give an example of a girl's background and describe the impact APU has on these girls. So, Memory.
Thank you so much. I feel privileged to speak to you tonight here. So a scholarship is awarded to a girl who comes from a rural area, and this girl is interested to learn and has got potential to do well. So we conduct entrance exam and we select such girls. These girls usually, they come from poverty. They come from rural areas where they don't have an opportunity to go to a beautiful school like ours. Is located in the rural area deliberately to attract these girls, because most of them, they don't have chance to go to school because of our culture. These girls are coming from a culture that does not expect them to go and work hard in school. These girls are coming from a culture that do not allow the girls to speak out for themselves. These girls are coming from a culture that they marry them off at the tender age of 14, 15, 16. And at the same time, these girls are coming from a culture whereby women and girls are not involved in economic activities. For example, girls are not involved in farming cash crops like tobacco, but they are allowed to grow cheap crops like beans. So with this, we feel like girls are equally human beings. They deserve good things. No wonder why we created this school, APU. And APU at Sikana Paulendo, Girls on the Move, is giving a lot to these girls. Number one is giving them protection. These girls, if they're home, they're not protected. They're abused. They are forced into marriages. But once they are here at a boarding school, these girls are highly protected. These girls, when they are here at school, they are given regular meals, of which at home they don't. Usually at home, they miss meals. Sometimes they eat once a day. But here at Sikana Paulendo, Girls on the Move, they are given all the meals. Apart from that, these girls, they associate with fellow girls whose goal of achieving And at the same time, they are with their teachers who acts as role models to them. Whilst at home, their parents are not educated and no one helps them with their homework and no one encourages them to work extra hard. And so there are so many things that these girls benefit when they are here at APU. Apart from that, each girl has got a bed and a mattress. This is really precious to them. It's their first time to sit on a bed, and it's their first time to have a desk in a classroom. And once the girls are given all these, they realize their potential. They work so hard, and girls become equal to boys because they've been given an opportunity to work.
Thank you very much, Memory.
Yeah.
Next question is going to go to Henry. Henry, after 15 years, the campus is now more than 25 buildings, housing, educating, 480, providing more than 50 jobs. When you look back, what is the biggest changes in building the school during that time?
Thanks, Barry, for your question. Would you love me to share my screen? Is it possible?
As far as I know, it is.
Linda just has to authorize it or approve it, and then you can.
Linda, will you do that?
Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, so yeah, looking back at the so looking back over the 15 years, it's been a great journey from a very small
Henry, we're not hearing you.
Are you able to see my screen?
Nope.
Hello?
Not Henry, not yet.
Okay, well, then, no. Okay, never mind. We'll just go verbal. So yeah, over the past 15 years, it's indeed been a starting from an initial 2 buildings to over 15 buildings that we have. These are facilities that are taking care of over 500 people. You are talking about staff, you are talking about students, you are talking about boarding for students, you are talking about catering for students, and you are talking about learning spaces. It's indeed been a great journey with lots of challenges. Being located in a very remote area, it's not been easy to put together the skills that we needed in order to do the construction we needed. The skills are usually concentrated in urban areas. At the same time, being located very remote, there isn't enough equipment. So it required a lot of innovation, a lot of modification, a lot of creativity in order to arrive at what we have been able to build. When you look at the number of people that we have kept in employment, on average, we've been having over, I can see lots of changes on the screen. I wonder if I'm still there.
Henry,
Yes.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay, never mind, we will come back. So yeah, over the years, we have been able to keep in employment construction workers on average 70 plus at a time. And we've been able to keep permanent employees 50 plus. That means like professional staff like teachers, accounting, clerical staff 30 plus. And then the others are support staff like cleaning and other jobs. So it's been years of years of operations. Our operations have been paying wages which have pumped money into the local economy, and that's a big plus, and that's what gives us a very good will among the people. The construction also faced challenges in terms of like cash flow.
Hey, Henry, we can see you now, but you're frozen up. We're not hearing from you.
Barry,
Yep.
maybe you should ask a question of Maness while we're getting Henry back online.
Okay, I can do that. So we do have Maness, and Maness, let me get my glasses back on here. So Maness was one of the students with the first graduating class of APU. So Maness, could you tell us about your continued education since 2011 and what you're doing now, and what are your future plans?
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me today. It's an honor to be here. Since 2011, that is when I graduated from APU, I was fortunate to get a scholarship to go and study at Pearson College in Victoria, BC. So I spent 2 years in Canada getting a diploma at the International Baccalaureate program. After that, I got another scholarship to come here in the US and study for 4 years. Here I got a BA in economics from the University of Oklahoma. That was in 2017. After graduating, I went back home and actually worked at APU. So that was really exciting, working with the girls and encouraging them, being an example and seeing how they change, like me being there and then seeing them changing as well, going through the same process that I went through. After a year of being in Malawi, I decided to come back and continue with my studies. So I am back at the University of Oklahoma studying political science, and I hope to complete my PhD in political science in 2023. After that, I plan to become a faculty member at a research-focused institution because I'm a huge fan of policy analysis and program evaluation, especially because of my economics background. But eventually, this is still a secret, so I hope we can keep a secret. I plan to run for office. I want to become the president back home. I'm not happy with public administration over there. It's really poor, and so I am here observing everything, how different countries run their nation, and see how that would apply back home. So that's what that's where I'm heading to. Thank you.
I'm not sure if we have Henry or Memory back yet. Are they back?
I see Henry. Henry, you back with us?
Henry, you're muted. There we go.
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect.
We lost you. You were talking about where there with the start of the two buildings, and then how you hire, how many people the school hires, and then it froze. So continue from there.
Continue from there.
All right. Thank you. I'm back. So yeah. So over the 15 years, over the 11 years, we have done the 15 buildings, and now we have a robust campus which takes care of its students, its staff, and everybody. We are now a preferred school in Malawi. So we can proudly say we are a choice school, and people fight for a place in order to get admitted into the school.
Thank you very much, Henry. Memory, I'm not sure if you were able to hear, but we already had a conversation with Maness. And so to that point, Maness has described her journey, but can you tell us generally about the lives and successes of graduates over the past 9 years? How many girls have graduated in that time? What are the many things that they are doing today?
Thank you so much. So each year, the school has graduated an average of 95 students. And so for 9 years, we've been doing that. I would say out of the number, 60%, they've got an employment. Some of them are teachers, some of them are nurses, and 30%, they've managed to go to university like Maness, and 10%, they've started their own businesses. This is just a general report that I would say, but to be specific of what these girls are doing, it's a lot, and it's amazing what a rural girl given an opportunity to go to school can do. Most of them, just by coming to APU, Girls on the Move, they've become leaders in their families, in their villages, in their schools, in the clinics they are working. They've just automatically become leaders simply because of the education that they've obtained here. It's surprising to hear that the same girl without education has no voice and choice. But the same girl, if she's been given a potential and chance to go to school, she becomes a leader. And so these girls, they're supporting their families in terms of better ways of agriculture, better ways of healthy care, and above all, they've got a voice and a choice. They're able to speak out. They're able to stand out. They're able to choose what they want in this life. And they're also involved in economic activities that their mothers have been denied. And so the other thing that I wanted to add, apart from that, these girls, their education has made boys to work extra hard as well. When a boy child in a family goes to school and he hasn't done well in Form 4, whilst a girl has been selected to university, these boys, they're accepting to repeat even 4 times, 5 times, just to see themselves go to university. They are saying if a girl can make it, they can also make it. So it's a lot that is happening to these girls. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Memory. Henry, tell us about the impact that COVID is having on the school. How have you handled the pandemic?
Oh yeah, the pandemic took us unawares. Honestly, it's very unfamiliar territory. In the first place, we had to close school abruptly, and we stayed closed for 6 months, which meant no revenue. We rely on revenue from commercial students, mostly, which is the money that goes into the school operations, and then the tap was just closed without any notice at all. So that was the number one big impact, which meant that we had to find alternative ways of financing. We had to find alternative ways to survive the period. Lucky enough, with our partnership with Canada, we were at least able to be subsidized. So we had to follow some of the stuff, and we had to put some of the key stuff at half pay for 6 months. And that was really brutal. the wages are already low and the survival is already tough here, and people had to do with half the wages. Very, very tough. And then reopening was with restrictions. We had to reopen after meeting certain conditions from government, and these conditions meant we had to spend a lot of money in order to make sure we have fumigated schools, in order to make sure that we have implemented hand washing, we have implemented social distancing. That meant taking out students from a class to accommodate fewer students. It meant a change in operations. It meant alternating students. It meant fewer learning hours. But at the same time, it came with a positive. I remember in the global grant that the Rotary Club of Lethbridge financed us, there was an element of computerization and e-learning. And this COVID just came at the right moment. It found our school ready to do e-learning where there's no contact. So it was a big advantage in our school over the other schools which did not have teachers who are able to deliver lessons electronically. So a very big advantage on that end. So the COVID also brought in new routines, which we were not used to, and it was not easy for everyone to get used to them, but eventually we are getting used. And honestly speaking, we have been in school now for about 3 months without any instances, without any illnesses. We are every day doing measurements. We are every day practicing all those new practices to prevent the spread of COVID. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Henry. That's a great update. Next question is going to go to Maness. And Maness, I was really kind of personally happy to hear that you're going to think about going into politics. You might want to write this down based on what Memory just said. Maybe your slogan will be, you have a voice and you have a choice. So maybe you want to use that. Anyways.
Sounds good.
Can you tell us how APU has changed your life?
For me, APU is everything. I want to start with one thing that Memory talked about in her first question, protection. I remember when I was at APU, I did not want to go home because at APU, I felt protected, I felt safe. It was conducive for me to study and continue with my studies. With what was happening at home, I knew that I wouldn't be able to study. I was more likely to even not continue with my studies. So APU is definitely a source of protection to the student. The second thing is that APU has given me the power to speak up for myself. Sometimes I come across, especially men, sorry, who tend to speak to me as if I'm less than, and I do not like that. So thanks to APU, I stand up for myself. I let them know that they cannot speak to me like that. I want to give an example of an incident that happened in my village. So there was a meeting where I was not going to be there, and the decision that was going to be made was going to affect me. So I was told that they were going to have a discussion and then they'll get back to me with the results. And I was like, how about what I think? That was a problem. I was not supposed to say that to them. Since then, they have labeled me as rude, and I'm okay with that because I was just saying that you're making a decision that's going to affect me as well. Therefore, I need to have a say. So I do not apologize for wanting to have a say in the decision-making process. The third thing is that APU has allowed me to pull my family out of poverty. When I think since I was 80 years old, we really never had enough food throughout the year. And after I graduated with my BA in economics, since then, there has never been a time when there's no food in the house. So that is absolutely a big change in my family, that for several years, we had days, as Memory talked about, we had days where we didn't have food. I remember one time we had to go for like 3 days without eating, and our body started swelling up, and that was scary. So it's really amazing that through APU, my family doesn't have to go through that anymore. In addition to that, I'm also educating my siblings. As I go to school, I'm also a graduate teaching assistant for an American federal government class, and that pays me enough to help with paying school fees for my sister, who is studying nursing at one of the government colleges in Malawi. Some of my siblings are in secondary school, and some of them are in primary school, which is like primary school, kind of elementary school here, and then secondary school, that's high school here. So just because I was educated, my siblings are having access to education as well, even going to college, as in the case of my sister, and the rest are looking up to us. They want to do the same thing. The last thing I want to talk about is that APU has definitely widened my view of the world. You know, being in the village, you really never get to see anything else, because this is a place where there is no electricity, there is no running water. You cannot really stay informed about what's going on, not only in the country, and talk about the world as a whole. So for me, all I knew was that you are born, and then at a young age, you start helping with the household chores. You then go to a government school where education is really poor. I remember learning under True, we didn't have a classroom. I remember not having enough teachers. We had to just go there and play around. When it rained, we didn't have to go to school because there was no classroom for us to be in. So you end up dropping out. There's no one encouraging you. The environment is not conducive for learners to continue with their studies. So you usually just drop out. And as Memory pointed out in her first question, you end up getting married at a young age. And most of the times it's going to be the parents asking you to do so, to get married. Why? Because there's money. You know, the family, the guy that marries, for instance, the guy that marries me will have to give money to my parents. And so that's all I knew, you know, that you just end up becoming somebody's wife. That is a subsistence farmer, being a wife of a subsistence farmer. And that's not what I wanted. I was very fortunate that my mom's family, she had experience with some of her family members who made it to college, and she saw that they were living a really better life as compared to what she was surrounded with. And so she helped me a lot when I didn't want to go to school and be like everyone else. She was like, no, you're going to go back to school. And so I didn't really see anything beyond what I just described. You're born, you help with household chores, you drop out of primary school, you get married, you become a wife. After that, that's your life. With APU, I'm out here. It's amazing. And it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. me being here, my family is no longer the same too. So I am forever grateful to the opportunities that APU has made available to me. And my family is definitely grateful as well, because if it was not for APU, there is no way we would be having enough food today. There is no way my siblings would be in better schools. They'd be in government schools where, as I just described, where there's no enough resources. And so I am really thankful for all the work that you're all doing through APU. And if I had the resources, and if I end up being in office, I would definitely, replicate APU all over the country. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maness. That was very inspiring. Just going to do a time check with Alan. I have a couple more questions. Do we have time and still have time for some questions from the membership?
Yeah, no problem, Barry. Carry on bravely.
Perfect. So Memory, can you tell us the role that Canadians have had in the success of the school? You're muted, Memory. Memory, you guys are muted.
I think they're frozen again, Barry.
Oh boy.
Did you have another question for Maness? We got a really good connection with her.
Actually, no, Pat made up these questions, and the next two were to Memory and to Henry. So I was hoping that,
I have one for Maness.
Okay, go ahead, Dennis.
Hey, Maness, it's Dennis here. I'm just wondering, for you to continue your studies, is there any opportunities for you to qualify for the Rotary International Peace Scholarship grants?
I am not sure about that, but with graduate studies here in the US, I get a tuition waiver and then a stipend every month. So that covers my tuition fees.
Okay,
Thank you.
I guess as we wait and hopefully Henry and Memory can get back on, is there any other questions that we can direct to Maness?
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Hi, Maness. So I loved your talk. Thank you so much. And here's what I hear you telling me. Because of APU, you were able to get this great education, to have a way better life than you and otherwise had. But it's not just for you as well. Your family's got a better life. Your community's going to have a better life. Your world's going to have a better life because we get to hear your voice because you had that experience, right, in 2011. Then now we can hear your voice, whereas otherwise we would have never probably heard from Maness, right? But here you are. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Obviously, there was no question in that. That was just a statement. Sorry.
All right.
I have a question.
I have another one, Barry, if nobody else has one.
No, I do.
Go ahead.
Henry?
Me?
Oh, Jerry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Jerry.
All right. Maness, I'd like to know if you are aware of the government, like in Malawi, sort of a structure. Have you studied that, or are you, how, like I'm not aware of, like it's a democracy, I assume, but do you have two houses? Is it all men or women? There's some women in there. Maybe you could elaborate on that.
Hi, Jerry. Good question.
Hi.
I know a lot more about the American government as compared to the Malawian government, but Malawi has a unitary system, and the country is divided into different districts, and we have 28 districts currently. So that's like provinces in Canada. And each district has a district commissioner's office And then at the local level, it's divided into what is called traditional authority. So each district has a number of traditional authorities, and then it goes all the way down to cities or villages. In terms of representation in parliament, so there are some women, not a lot, not enough, but mostly it's men. And of course, in terms of the presidency, it's always been men, except for Joyce Banda, who came in after the death of Bingu Mutharika. So she was not really elected, but she came in because she was the vice president, therefore she was next in line of power. That's all I have for you.
Dennis, you had another question?
No, actually, that was the same questions I was going to ask is what's the female representation and what's the process to get elected? So that's awesome. Great to hear that. Let us know if we can help.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell me when the election is, I'll come vote for you.
Sounds great. I'll keep you posted.
Do we have any other questions out there?
Barry, I do have a video, a YouTube video that Pat wanted to play.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
So, hold on.
That was awesome.
Well, it looks like we lost Henry in memory, unfortunately, so we can't ask those other questions. One of them was going to talk about how what influence Canada has or Canadians had over the success of the school, and I can, without going in a lot of detail, I can assure you that it was enormous. I mean, it was the whole concept started back when Christy, which was she was an aspiring teacher and was in Malawi to learn internationally, and she met up with Memory, and that was the beginning of the whole adventure, and that was where the school began. And it was through Canadian, and specifically through Canadian Rotaries, that actually got the start, that created this school, obviously with the help of Christy, Memory, and Henry. It's an amazing school. Like I said, I've been there twice, and you all heard the young lady singing Never Be There Again, or you cannot imagine what it's like to go to that school and wake up in the morning and listen to these girls sing with all their heart. And you go to the assemblies and they just sing. That's what they do. They're so happy and excited to be at that school that it's it's an amazing place. Maness, have you got anything to add to the?
Excuse me, can I just jump in here for a minute? We
Yeah.
were waiting for a Catherine Filgus, weren't we, before? Is that correct? Yeah. So I see a Catherine in our mix here. Is this Catherine? Was she part of the speaking part for this, or?
Oh no, I'm just a guest to watch the presentation.
Lovely. Okay, Catherine, we didn't see you before when we were introducing guests, so welcome to the meeting. A little late, Ed, but we're still wanting to welcome you anyways. It hasn't ended yet, so that's good news.
So I guess, is there any more questions for Maness? Or Maness, do you have any more comments about your experience at the school?
I'll be happy to take questions. That'll be wonderful because I'll be answering questions that you want to know the answers about. But one thing I would definitely add is that given that I was coming from a family where my dad was the one making decisions and my mom never had a say, or we children never had a say in what was going to happen. That's no longer the case. And my mom is able to have a say in the decision-making process. And so it's just incredible that just me, by attending this school, it's not just freeing or giving an opportunity to me. It's my mom, it's my siblings, it's the community where I come from. And so one thing that I've really been so proud of is having my mom not be abused by my dad anymore. And so that's one thing that I just wanted to add.
Do you stay in contact with any of your fellow graduates from the first class?
Yes, we have a WhatsApp group, and we keep each other posted about what we're doing, so I am in touch with a lot of them.
Hey, Matt or Henry and Memory are back. Barry, ask them a question while we have them.
Hey.
Yes.
Memory.
You know what to do, a trick. We had to put our receptor on the window.
Oh.
Okay. Well, glad you found the solution.
Yeah, so it's working magic now.
Hey, we have a few more minutes yet. So Memory, can you tell us the role the Canadians have had in the success of the school?
Yes, so thank you so much, Barry. Indeed, Canadians, they've played a big role in this school because I, Henry, and Christy, we had this vision, but without the support of Canadians, it was impossible to do this. This has allowed so many Canadians to help. I remember speaking to pre-kinder, to grade 1, 2, 3, university, Rotary families, different Rotary clubs. I would say maybe hundreds of Rotary clubs that have come in just to help APU school to be where it is today. Yes, we offer the service, but without the buildings, without money for the scholarship of the girls, I don't think we're going to make this. And so we are so grateful and we're so thankful that we Malawians and Canadians together, we've given a voice and a choice to a girl child in Malawi. When you look at Maness, this is what you guys you've done. We've changed the life of Maness. And so Maness is just an example. There are so many of them that have got good news about what you've helped us. And so if we're talking about rural girls in Malawi, we're talking about 80% of such girls living in poverty. And so if we look at APU, it's kind of a drop in a bucket. We've got a lot of work. And so our has got a lot of work. They're doing it, but they're not managing because the work is too huge. But the hope is that once you educate a girl child, you educate the entire family, entire village. That is what we believe here in Malawi. Once a girl is educated, that girl is helping a lot. And mind you, if a girl or a woman has got money, the money goes 99% to children, and to children, I mean boys and girls. So it's very important to give an education to a girl child. And so without Canada, I don't think we're going to speak the way we are speaking. I don't think we're going to go as far as we've gone. I know some, they look down upon their dollar. They never really understood how far their dollar is going to go, but this is how far the dollar has gone. Together, we can change somebody's life. Together, we can give a smile at somebody's life. So thank you so much, all the people that have helped APU. APU is going to be there, I think, for many years because it's a solid school, it's a good school, and it's giving hope to girls in Malawi. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. That's wonderful. We have one more question. It's going to go to Henry. Henry,
we also have Jim has had his hand up for a while.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
More of a comment than a question, but there's a saying that says it takes a village to raise a child, and certainly it's the case here. I think what most people probably don't understand is the scope of that school. That is a village, and that is all Henry's work. That's complete with water, sewer, electricity, all of the infrastructure that a village would expect to have. That's all been done by Henry.
That's true.
So Henry, you get to answer the last question. So Henry, you're a relatively new Rotarian. Can you tell us the role that the Rotary has had in the development of the school?
Thank you, Barry. Massive. We can sum it up as massive because all the projects either have been funded by Rotary clubs, individual Rotarians, or Friends of Rotary. Right from the beginning, the very first people we met were Rotarians, Larry Johnson, Christy Stott, and then Ken Haywood. We were young, very young. Memory and I were very young. We were in our mid-20s. And nobody trusted us. Nobody would trust us with their money. But it took Rotarians to go beyond the norm and trust us with the first money to build the first buildings, to recruit the first girls, to recruit the first teachers and start a school. So everything we have has been organized through Rotary. We just completed a $273,000 global grant, which was aimed at improving the school. So we installed solar power, we installed gas cooking equipment, we did books, we did computers with that global grant. That's the biggest grant that our district has ever implemented by far. The next grant is probably around $20-something thousand. So I joined the Rotary a year after the approval of the grant. And I'm new at Rotary, but very quickly I've risen through the ranks to be in the board, Rotary board, just because they're looking at the size of the grant that we managed to organize together and we managed to implement. that adds weight to my Rotary membership. Right today, I was supposed to be in a board meeting, but I've opted for this meeting. So you can see how much Rotary has done for us, and we know that there is a lot in the pipeline that is going to happen. If there is a project that our district governor, every district governor who comes into office these days always visits APU, always visits Atsikana Paulino. So it's a pride, it's a more point of pride in our district, in our club, and in our region per se. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Henry. So if there's no other questions for Henry or Memory or Maness, I'll turn the meeting back over to Alan so that he can continue on with Sergeant Arms of that.
Memory and Maness and Henry, thank you so much for joining us today. Are you ready for it? Here's your standing ovation. Here it comes. All righty. So now, really appreciate it. What an inspiring story, and certainly kind of encourages us to contribute, to help, to be of value when we hear those kind of amazing success stories. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Chris is our Sergeant at Arms. Chris, what have you for us?
Well, well, President Al, we have quite a lengthy list here. And I hope everybody's got their pay button ready on their phone, right? And so I'm going to find myself for the hat during O Canada because it's hiding a really bad hairdo. Growing it out. Winter is coming. And again, very inspired by the Malawi Girls School. I've been in Rotary since before the project started, and it's been great to see it grow and hear all the updates and see now through our grad that was online in Maness how it's affected. So it's awesome. And so at the beginning of the meeting, we were talking about playing our own O Canada, and there was a Walk Off the Earth version that used some ketchup. And one of our members does not like that version, Berry Orange. And I think, is it because you like Heinz ketchup over the French's, or was it the throwing the French fries that you didn't like? Because
well, actually, if it would have been using Coca-Cola, I would have been acceptable to me.
There you go.
Not French ketchup.
But the Coke, maybe when they were blowing into the Coke cans, it didn't make the right sound.
Okay.
Anyway. And also a welcome to David Da Silva and to Catherine Filgus, our guests and hopefully potential Rotarians. And also to President Al for promoting the next meeting and making the financial statement something that you'd really want to come and listen to. So
it's going to be amazing.
The accountants of Alberta would like to have you on their advertising team. And to Maness, go for it. You can do anything in this world that you want, and I'll vote for you too. And to Jerry Bowers, Jerry, are you on there? You're the only Rotarian with a Flames flag hanging up in behind, so maybe a little fine for that. So go
right.
Flames.
No problem.
And that's all I have. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate that. We have, I think it's, whose turn is it? It's Barb's turn. Barb Ennis, would you like to share with us? It's going to be on the screen, but the four-way test, so you can recite the four-way test for us.
Alan, sorry, could I put in a quick plug for the online auction?
Oh, yes, Steve, please do. Yes. Tell us.
We just have until Wednesday. It closes Wednesday at, I think it's noon our time. And there's a lot of items that are a real bargain right now. I've got fountain tire gift certificates, $50 fountain tire gift certificates that I've bid $10 on. So please, people outbid me. I'm willing to pay more, but I can't outbid myself. We got a $399 hood kit, which is basically, it's a protective film that covers your hood and your fenders. And in Alberta, it's desperately needed by most of us. It's $399 value sitting at $50. And we've got a $300 vehicle detailing that's sitting at $50. So please, if you don't mind, over the next couple of days, get online and outbid me. And this money goes to exactly what we're talking about. It goes to the foundation. So it goes to the projects we're talking about today.
Steve, did you want to resend that link just so as a reminder for people to click on and bid? Would you do that?
Sure, it's in Rotabuzz. So the last few Rotabuzz you've got,
Right.
and also Mel has sent it out.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's there. So get on and bid often and bid heavy. Oh, also, while we're talking about it, next week was supposed to be, we're going to have Shaheen Madizadeh on as a guest for Rotary and have a little chat with him. But there has been a little challenge with that. But for those, so we're going to have him. It'll be in the new year, though. But if those want a little precursor to it, this coming Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I have a little show called 1,000 Ways on Jess FM, Jess TV. And so I'm going to have an interview with Shaheen Madizadeh if anybody's interested in that. Back to Barb. Barb, would you share with us the 4-way test, please?
Just had to unmute. The 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you so much, Barb. Thank you, Rotarians, and thank you for our friends from Africa for joining us today. I don't know to call Maness from Africa anymore, but I think so, right? Still, that's where originally, yes. Okay, good, good. All right, so thank you very much. Keep well, and I very much appreciate you.